Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about a guy. From the grain to the glass, now that's an art. A little bit of science and a whole lot of heart. He heats up the kettle, lets the good time start. When it comes to craft, he's playing his part. Mash tun, steam, and brass section bright. Every little detail done just right. No shortcuts taken, no corners cut. He builds that flavor from the bottom up. Oh, when the bubbles rise and the tanks run clear, there's only one name you're gonna hear. Adam makes beer. Let's raise a glass right here. From the malt and the hops to the yeast and sear, Adam makes beer. Adam makes beer. Now give the band a cheer. Smooth as a tune in your left ear. Adam makes beer. He tracks every number steady and cool. Temperature tight, that's the rule. Fermented clean, let it rest just right. Golden and bright under soft spotlight. From a small time batch to a taproom show, they call him Mr. Ho Show, you know. Helping young brewers find their way, building careers the classic way. And here's the twist that makes it clear. He crafts the finest far and near. He can't eat gluten, that's sincere, but he sure knows how to brew great beer. Oh, when the brass kicks in and the drums appear, there's only one name you're gonna hear. Adam makes beer. Go on and spread the cheer. From grain to glass, year to year, Adam makes beer. Adam makes beer. Now swing that atmosphere, smooth and bold like a fine premiere. Adam makes beer. Malt, hops, yeast. Simple things, but they mean the most. Here's to the craft, now here's a toast. Adam makes beer, the finest far and near. When you're building dreams, have no fear. Adam makes beer. Adam makes beer. That's the story clear. Now give it up for the man of the year. Adam makes beer. That's right. Adam makes beer.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 95 of the Adam Makes Beer Industry Pro Podcast. Today's guest is Leslie Shore of Cold Stream Malt. Just a couple things as far as Adam Makes Beer news. Make sure to get over to adammakesbeer.com and check out all the goodies over there. We've got everything from content stuff, blog stuff. Do you want some consult work done? Do you want to do some marketing stuff with me? Can I help you get the word out on your brand? Hit me up. Contact form, baby. You know what else? Jump in that merch store. Get some of the Adam Makes Beer swag if you want to. You won't regret it. Also, finally, coming up this coming week on March 23rd to the 26th, I'm going to be at the Ohio Craft Brewers Conference. It is been a long time in the making. We were supposed to be doing this conference back in January, and I'm going to tell you right now, my feelings are full on hurt. That conference, the first time, got canceled because of crazy weather, and then we have had warmth in Cincinnati, and all of a sudden it's in the 20s again, and my constitution can't handle it. Okay, I'm growing frail as the white hairs in my beard continue to multiply and migrate. I'm getting weak. I can't handle this. I need summer. I need summer, but I did do something awesome today. Today I was in beautiful K-Tuck, as I like to call Kentucky. I jumped over the river today. Went to the home of the Florence Y'alls. Technically, I wasn't in Florence, but kind of near Florence. And I hooked up with my friends over at Flotweg, and we were looking at their centrifuges and decanters. So if you are looking for some deep dive info on both of those pieces of equipment, I have some cool stuff coming up for you. We're going to have that stuff released before CBC, definitely the long form, and then we'll probably be rolling out the shorts on it too to help call you to the long form so you can get that info. But you'll definitely want to check that out. I love doing stuff like that because I've got a curious brain inside my head, and I don't know everything about centrifuges, everything about decanters. So pairing up with them today was really a lot of fun. Got to see a lot of cool stuff, and we'll be able to pass it all along to you. But ladies and gentlemen, speaking of cool stuff, let's talk about my lovely sponsors. Starting a brewery is a big step. Blickman Engineering is here to help. Since 2006, they've equipped hundreds of nano breweries for success. Their new 3.5 barrel ProSurface electric brewing system cuts maintenance and saves at least 30 minutes per brew day with powerful under kettle heating. From 1 to 15 barrel brew houses to keg washers and grain mills, Blickman has what you need. Ready to go pro? Contact Filler Tom at Pro Series at blickmanengineering.com. Blickman Engineering is a proud sponsor of this channel and loves to help brewers at every stage of their journey. This episode is also brought to you by Senos. Senos turns every tank into a smart tank with real-time fermentation data and analytics, all captured automatically. Ditch manual checks and coming in on the weekends. No more guessing. Just clear, actionable insights that help you brew your best batch every time. Brewers use Senos to deliver consistent quality, prevent product loss, and scale with confidence. Brew smarter, waste less, profit more. Visit Senos.com and book a free demo. That is SENNOS.com. Senos, the future of fermentation technology. Today's guest is Leslie Shore. She's a brewer, industry advocate. Let me get my correct view on here. Boom. All right. We can see some faces here. Industry advocate, consultant, and co-host. Now, is it live lunches or is it the Hard Pour podcast?
Good question.
with friend of the podcast, Shan Thompson.
Yeah.
So Leslie, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
This is pretty great.
Dude, so we're having a little discussion before about lighting and everything. Your picture has zoomed up a little bit right now, but you look like you have like a luxurious background behind you. Are those wood shutters behind you or wood shades? Dude,
Yeah.
dude, it's classy. It's classy.
Thanks. I'm just in my dining room right now. Because even though it's Seattle, it's still light outside right now. And I've had the blinds up, and when I was coming on and doing like a camera check and whatnot, it was just blowing out.
Yeah. Yeah, the room that I'm in, I have the windows like all blacked out and everything like fully covered because it's just so hard to control light. I saw a clip that I did with an interview from like a year ago, and I literally look like the entire thing has been bleached. Like my skin is like less than white and everything, and yeah, light can get out of hand in a hurry.
Like Mr. Burns from that one Simpsons episode where he was glow in the dark burn.
Yeah, exactly. That's the idea.
Everyone loves that.
So I first saw you in video form when you and Shan started doing your live lunches, and I've been I think I'm current. I think I've seen the most recent one. I've watched them all through. There are things that I have learned. And one is the concept of the one person think tank. I have been exposed. I've been exposed to that concept. Also, another one, beer related, is dad beer, like in reference to like amber ale, amber lager, and that clicks and it makes a lot of sense.
It does, doesn't it?
It does. It does. So I feel like I've been expanding my vocabulary just around beer culture in general. And the two of you are a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
Basically, it's just this is how we are when we're together.
Yeah.
And that's about it. It's just a little bit more structured. So.
Well, and I think that's I was actually talking with another industry person today, and like that was when I think that's the idea. Like when you're doing that stuff, you do. It's just you being you, you know. And like I've had friends that you kind of lose contact with people. You don't see people for a long time. And it was a little while ago, but I had a friend from the past saw a video clip that I posted, and they're like, "Oh, it was good to see you." It was like I was actually seeing you. You know what I mean? Just because that's the goal. Like you're just being yourself because that's all you can be.
That's it.
Like to go full persona for it is kind of rough. You know what I mean? Flip it on and off. I don't know how. I don't know. I feel like I'd really come off like a cornball if I did that. But yeah.
Oh, I think we're all in that same boat. We're all very corny and very weird. And being a brewer, you are used to being insular, isolated, being in the basement, the cellar.
Yeah.
You're by yourself quite a lot. So having that kind of, I don't know, is it an awkward tendency, or are you just introverted, or have you just not been around a lot of people? And when you are, it's kind of a jarring thing. So I always love industry events and being around other brewers and people that work in the industry, because you can see in real time the blossoming with the amount of beer that's involved.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's like that realization that, oh, I don't know you, but we have the same battle scars. We deal with the same stuff every day. We can actually like trade stories and deepen relationships with folks. So that's kind of a fun thing. So being awkward's fun.
Well, and so I've also seen, I've also known some people on the brewing side, and I probably at times have felt certain things myself. But have you ever seen a situation where sometimes, like the brewers like want to be isolated and are almost a little adversarial with other people in the building, or even their guests? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. It's why are you invading my space? Just let me flip this tank. Let me crawl out of this snake pit. Here come all these safety concerns. Are they going to step on a hose and crimp it? Are they going to fall? Are they going to like twist their ankle? Like,
no. Seriously.
I mean, I can envision that. And I probably have given off that attitude less than 6 times, let's say. Definitely more than one. Where it's just like, I'm in the middle of something. Why are you bringing folks through this? This is a production facility. This is not safe. You haven't vetted their safety. But and then I'm also probably hungover.
It's well, but it's tough though, so like for me, I don't know about you, but I did not come from a food manufacturing background when I got into beer. I was teaching, which is not making beer, but like I definitely came with the appropriate fundamentals from a mental, from a big picture outlook on it. Like I knew obviously that I'm creating a food product, that my cleaning and sanitation is of utmost importance. Like that stuff was always like top tier for me. Now, I haven't learned everything I've learned over the years, but at least the mindset was in place. But you end up in this situation where, and especially when it's a new brewery, people just come in and they say, "Oh, I know Jimmy. Jimmy's the owner. Jim's the owner. Hey, I'm friends with Jimmy." And then they don't even look at you. They just like walk past you. And I'm like, if something goes wrong, I think I'm in charge of things back here, and I might be in trouble. You know what I mean?
No, you're absolutely right. You are in charge back there. And if a civilian walks in off the street saying that they know the owner, congratulations. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm working right now. There's chemicals here. There's steam there. Like, that's hot. Don't touch it. Don't look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that flashes me back to this first brewery that I was at. And I kind of make the joke, like, so, I mean, I was teaching, I left teaching. I was very hardcore into the beer judging and competition scene. I was entering tons of beers. And then I ended up getting hired at this place. And it was one of those crazy things. And it was still within the window of time where somebody is going to raise a large amount of money, build a building, and then tell a guy like me with no professional experience, "Hey, let's go make a bunch of money." Because that was the pitch, right?
Yeah.
So what was kind of like your path then? Did you go the school route? Was it the home brewing route, and then kind of in through? What did that look like for you?
I started off home brewing. A lot of people in the industry start off as home brewers. It's a great way to, if you're process based in your mind, it's a great way to like scratch that itch. If you're curious about flavor and recipe development, it's another way to scratch that itch. If you're curious about fermentation, consider all of these itches scratched. And that's how it was for me. A lot of it was being in Southwest Florida, where I'm from. It was kind of a beer desert. We had Newcastle, we had a bunch of Belgian beers. And I say that like it's a desert, right? We had a bunch of Guinness, right? But what we didn't have was a lot of beers from around the country. We had Sam Adams, and then we just got like Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. So it was like, this is what I want to drink. And I would complain to my husband, and big surprise there. He just basically came home one day with a home brewing kit and said, "Here you go." Put up, make a beer. And being pretty adept in the kitchen, I kind of knew what kind of flavor I wanted to work with. And that's usually how I approach something in the kitchen at home, where I will think of the flavors that I want and then work backwards from that. So getting into home brewing definitely unlocked a lot of doors and definitely put me on a pathway for a different career.
Yeah, I think that, I'm frequently asking people, "Hey, hit me up if you want topics, if you want this, that, or the other thing." Something that I hear about a lot is, recipe development and flavor creation. And I think it's an interesting thing, because it's not that there are not books or anything like that out there. That there are things that are available, but depending on what situation you find yourself in, you can find yourself in a situation where you're making somebody else's beer on the commercial side of things. Sometimes people don't like to share information. There can be kind of a gatekeeping element, or maybe more accurately, people don't want to expose what they don't know. And so they kind of keep a lid on things. But yeah, what I find most often though is it is people that have had the opportunity to iterate out many times over on the small scale, whether that be a small pilot system, or a homebrew rig, doing that yourself at the house. I think it's a major advantage to being able to put those pieces together. What was that your experience with that?
Yeah, it definitely was. I think recipe development is correct. It can be from a book and you can learn all the components and the
Mhm,
mechanics and the chemistry behind it, but it's also incredibly esoteric. So
mhm,
if you don't have it innately, it can be learned, but
mhm,
knowing what chemical reaction is going to produce what flavor, especially
mhm,
when yeast is involved, and
mhm,
what temperature range you're having that yeast, that's going to produce different flavors.
mhm,
So uh, being able to chew your malt or even
mhm,
rub your hop pellets and stick your tongue on there and get a feel for like the oil level and the
sure.
bitterness level,
Mhm,
and even doing those steeps with hops and malt, that
mhm,
right there is a great way to learn,
mhm,
oh, this is like the base or the core flavors that we're
mhm,
going to experience. And then take yourself down that hypothetical road of like, if I apply X amount of heat at Y amount of time with this particular ratio, what might this be? Kind of
sure.
extrapolate those flavors out.
Mhm,
And for the most part, it works, but it does require a lot of iterations over time,
yeah, yeah.
especially on a homebrew scale where you have that economy of scale. I'm only doing this 5 gallons at a time, so it's not going to be
Mhm,
super expensive. If I do it 10 barrels at a time and I only have a 20 barrel system as my main production, that could be a lot of money. And I
yeah.
don't want to, I don't want to, sink that investment cost on that. And
Mhm,
as far as like people going into a production facility and encountering someone gatekeeping their recipes. Eh, I mean, a recipe is a recipe, right? It's just
mhm,
beer. It's
mhm.
just beer. Like we're not going to come across a new style to develop like every other week. In fact, we're seeing this cyclical thing occur every year where, you know, brewed IPA, who is she?
You
But
know,
but
go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, it's like I was just gonna say, it's like the dad beer is steadily on the ascent.
Yes.
It's gaining a lot of velocity, it's gaining a lot of traction, and it it's I think this the ones that are available right now commercially definitely
Mhm,
don't have that autolyzed yeast flavor that some folks would presume is going to come out
mhm,
of that
mhm.
also that tannin or metallic flavor that a lot of people would assume or
Sure.
presume with dad beers. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
we're not
Yeah.
reinventing the wheel. It's just beer. It's just beer.
Yeah. I do think, and I know for me, and I think it was an area that I kind of tripped up, like when I first got into the industry, so much of my identity was tied up in being a brewer.
Yeah.
And it was a really unhealthy way for me to approach the whole thing, because I had like, I had other good things going on, like I had a family and people that love me and friends, but like it can be a powerful thing, and especially when you are really passionate about like that journey, and trying
Mhm.
to push yourself, and respect like the process and the tradition of brewing, right? It can be a challenging thing. Was that when you first first started brewing professionally, what did you find like was your motivation behind wanting to do that?
Fear of failure.
Mm, yeah,
Fear of
tell me about
failure.
that.
Uh, I was brought up to not accept failure as an option, which
Hmm.
is incredibly toxic and totally unhealthy. And I am untangling that in therapy. It is
Sure.
it's fun. It's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but that ego is attached to that.
Mm,
And until you experience an ego death as a brewer, you're
mm,
not going to be successful as a brewer.
yeah, man.
Nobody's going to want to play with you. Nobody's
Yeah,
going to want to lend you ingredients or do a collab or
mhm,
you name it.
yeah.
And unfortunately, there are still a lot of folks out there that um, have an exalted view of being a brewer. They think
Mhm,
it's really sexy, but
uh-huh.
it's like everyone wants to be a brewer until it's time to do brewer shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Just literally crawling on the ground on your belly, getting underneath the tank, um, you name it.
Yeah.
You name it.
Yeah.
That part of, I'm also all by myself. I
Mhm.
don't have a backup. I don't
Mhm.
have an education in this because, this is 15 years ago. The internet was a
Yeah.
baby at the time.
Yeah.
I had John Palmer's How to Brew.
Hell
That was
yeah,
my
man.
book,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? Um, and being by myself, having that resolve of not wanting to fail, but
Mhm.
trying to learn every single thing before a mistake happened as a
Mhm.
learning potential. Because I know you make a mistake and that's your learning opportunity. It's not a mistake, it's a learning
Absolutely.
opportunity. But it's not a learning opportunity when someone is injured
Yeah.
or equipment is destroyed or someone gets ill because a process wasn't
Mhm.
followed through correctly. So by being by myself, first time, crazy equipment, I was literally writing down every single thing I could think of just in case there could be any kind of traceability need, it would be there.
Sure. I
And
love that you were thinking about traceability at that point because
I
because
had to.
you're absolutely correct though. You're absolutely correct. And I think it'll come into a little bit clearer context when we dig into what your original setup was when you got in. So I don't want to gloss over
Oh, here
the
we go.
traceability stuff. Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
I don't want to gloss over because I definitely want to tie all that stuff in.
Sure.
But it might help with the perspective of the equipment that you were working with. And this was with your first brewing gig, right?
Yeah.
This is what we
Yeah.
discussed before. Okay, yeah. So talk to us about like what that setup was like, what that brew house was like, what
Oh,
your brew
man.
fridge was like.
Oh, wow. What a journey. So having that traceability was my way of covering my butt.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to cover my butt because our equipment was 6 100-gallon igloos, coolers. And
It's so good. I love this so much. Go ahead.
I should have sent you some photos. I will send you. I'll DM
I
you
would
some
love to
photos
see it.
because it's pretty epic.
Yeah.
6 100-gallon igloo coolers, and to facilitate a false bottom, I had a perforated stainless steel sheet that was cut just a little bit too wide to fit, so I could have like a dome.
Yeah.
And then the drain, I cut that out and I put in a ball valve, a stainless steel ball valve with a 1-inch tri-clamp fitting on the end.
Yeah.
And those were on 2 carts. So 3 on one cart, 3 on another cart. I had a chugger pump. So the only way I could approximate flow was to throttle or choke back on that ball valve.
Yeah.
Naturally. Duh.
Yeah.
This is how everyone does it, by the way.
This is how beer is made, Adam. I mean,
come on. This is also, bear in mind, Florida.
Yeah.
Tampa area.
Yeah.
15-ish years ago.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and there is that element like now I know there's been ebbs and flows to the craft beer scene, but in the time that you and I were really getting into the commercial side of things, that was when it was still rocket ship.
Cowboy time.
Yeah, it was cowboy. Yes, it was cowboy. And like you're saying, it was 6 100-gallon coolers.
Yeah.
That's bonkers. Okay.
It's bananas.
That's bonkers. Yeah.
And I didn't have like a single vessel as a kettle. I had 6 stainless steel drums.
So you were running 6 mashes and 6 kettles?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I could make either one big batch of beer, like big batch 7 barrels.
Yeah.
Or I could be really bold and do 6 different beers at once. And I've done it. Like, it's doable. And I have the receipts and the notes to back that up. It's those would go into fermenting drums, and they were just basically HDPE barrels.
Yeah.
And I fabricated a blow off for that. And
Uh-huh.
so there was no like geometric forced precipitation of solids, right? It was flat bottom. So I got what I got.
Yeah.
But we only had a 3-barrel stout bright tank. And I didn't know how to use it because I've never seen
but
that
you
before
did
in
have
my
some
life.
stainless. You did have an actual piece of brewing equipment in the bright tank, so that's good.
We had 2 flat bottom floating top fermenters that were on casters. So here's the deal. I had to brew outside and it's Florida and it rains and thunderstorms every day at 3:30 in the afternoon, especially on the West Coast. And I live 100 miles south of here, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's a fun commute going there.
Yeah, right.
And to make sure that I was wrapped up, everything was cleaned. The fermenters were pushed back inside into a walk-in cooler. As my temperature control. And all of the equipment was cleaned and put back inside the building. I had to make sure that was all done before 3:30. And then that meant I needed to be there by 4 a.m., which is awesome. Going to the gas station and filling up at like 3:30 in the morning when you're so close to work, you're like, I can't eke out the rest of this tank. I need to pull over.
Yeah.
There's nothing good happening at the Circle K or the racetrack at 3:30 in the morning.
I presume you're right. So it is crazy though, because like I remember the first job that I took, there were things that there were red flags where if I was in my right mind, I would have said, there's no way in hell I'm going to take this job, because in the interview, this guy just said the craziest thing to me. But I wanted it so bad. You just rolled with it. You know what I mean? Is that applicable like to your situation? And not like it's, I don't know, like it's getting in and it's starting. You know what I mean? Like it's getting the ball rolling. Yeah.
That was it. I knew as long as I was able to get in by any means necessary when it came to, my lack of sleep, all of my paycheck going towards my car insurance and buying a new tire every 6 weeks, the oil changes. And this is where if you want to be a brewer, you need to make sure that your partner is the bill payer.
Yes. No, for real. I've had that conversation with many friends. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of needs
but you need to be at that point, you needed to be willing to set aside your own physical safety, your own mental safety, your own lack of knowledge and lack of community. Mm-hmm. And however long you can stave that off and still be true to yourself and know that that it's not permanent, right? Everything is temporary. Mm-hmm. You're always going to be building towards either fixing whatever's broken where you landed, mm-hmm. or flying to a new place and making sure that that fits what you need, because you need to advocate for your mental health. You need to advocate for your physical health. You need to advocate for your safety conditions in your food production facility, because you are making food and it is a production facility. And you need to be able to take that very seriously, because the majority of the people that own breweries are not going to take it seriously for you. And I'm not slagging off anyone that owns a brewery. It's a fact. It's a fact. Working safe can be expensive to set up, and it can be labor intensive staff wise, but it's what works. It creates a culture of safety. It creates a culture of permanency where, if everyone feels valued, they want to stay, they want to look out for their friends and coworkers, and they want to look out for your product. If you're going to build a brewery, you need to take safety incredibly seriously.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's really only been a handful of places that I've worked where I would say, and listen, maybe they wouldn't get an A+ if OSHA walked through, but but like really like putting me and the other people on staff in, at least I have the opportunity to use these things if I want to. You're always going to have some people that aren't going to do it, but are like the big picture safety things available to me. I've worked in a couple places like that. You know what I mean? But then it's just a lot of Wild West stuff beyond that.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of
so
Wild
true.
West stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Now you got that cool Modi song stuck in your head.
That's right. It's true. It's true. But, you know, I feel like I benefited really early on. So my first brewing gig, I helped to open this place. And then I was actually able to hire somebody that had 7 years experience. And 7 years is a lot, like comparatively. You know what I mean? And he's a dear friend of mine to this day. But that was probably the biggest level up for me, was being able to have, I think we worked together maybe 12, 18 months, but having that time of just working with somebody that took things seriously and wanted to do a great job. You know what I mean? And just all the small ins and outs. That was a really big level up for me personally. Where do you feel as if, or maybe to kind of discuss like how you view your growth? Were there times where you had like those level up moments? What kind of brought those things along, or was it kind of a gradual progression?
I think the first time it clicked for me was I went to another brewery that was a little closer to my house, and it was established. It had real equipment, and the brewmaster was trained at Doman's, and he was incredibly intelligent, but he also liked to have fun. He didn't take it seriously. He had that ethos baked in. He's like, look, it's just beer. We're just brewing beer, but you need to be safe, and you need to make sure that we're following these safety guidelines. And not being beholden to my own devices took a lot of pressure and stress off of my psyche, right? So having someone that had safety considerations built in mind with our SOPs was huge. It took me a while longer after that to start really getting into more educational opportunities, to where I felt a little stronger in my ability to brew and flip a tank at the same time, because those are things that, you know, those are concurrent things. So passive tasks. If you're doing an active task, you need to make sure you have a passive task going. But recognizing yourself, am I able to do 3 tasks at once? Or am I a one task at a time person? Because that I went through that the hard way, you know, like being by yourself, working on the weekend, doing a double turn, flipping a tank, dry hopping a tank, harvesting yeast off of a tank, fining a tank. And that was me by myself for 10 hours. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Those are a lot of tasks. So being able to have a foundation of, this person knows what they're doing. They've been trained and they've been doing this for quite a few years. And then going to another brewery where it is that next level of, we really need to make sure that you're getting the support you need and the education that you crave, because we're dealing with equipment here that is not forgiving to fleshy beings. Like our meat suits and those stainless things are not compatible.
Yeah. Are you an SOP writer or adjuster or a tweaker? Well, tweaker sounds. She's an SOP tweaker. No, but like, is that? Are you an SOP person?
Oh yeah.
I could see that.
I will
see
definitely.
That between the pod with you and Shan, if I had to guess who was the SOP writer, it would be you. But even just talking, that through,
And I mean, I will definitely go back and adjust as necessary and make those 100%. Notes in the margins. You have to. You have to audit. You have to do your safety audit. You have to audit your safety equipment, and you have to audit your SOPs, because SOPs are not static. They're dynamic. They're a living document, right? Or living documentation. So if you develop a better way to get the same product, whether you're clipping time or some other process improvement, then that needs to be documented and it needs to be updated, and it needs your documentation needs to reflect that. And it's totally fine. Like, it's not an ego thing to be like, well, I can't change that SOP. I wrote that. Ooh, everybody's going to think I'm lame. No one cares about you, first of all.
Yes.
Like you think.
Yes. Yeah.
Go ahead and make the adjustment. It's for the benefit of all.
Yeah.
If it means that you're saving 10 pounds of grain per batch, extrapolate over a year, you've just saved your company a couple hundred, couple $1,000, depending on your velocity.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I do think, like I found I'm an SOP writer / I'm a document creator. I'm a training document creator. And part of the reason is because I need those things personally. Like I'm somebody that I need to go and actually get my hands on equipment, and I need to do the things. I'm not the person that walks in and looks at process piping and understands where everything is going immediately. That's not me at all. As you kind of worked your way through the industry, how did you make yourself comfortable? Because it sounds like you're somebody that likes to know what's expected, what the appropriate process is. How did you build your comfort level as you grew through your career?
I think just that repetition in doing, right? Making yourself very familiar with the equipment that you're using, whether it's a pump or a brew rig or a mill or a forklift or your people lift. And I think the best way to get comfortable with that is not just doing the tasks with the equipment every single day. It's also making sure that you're following your preventive maintenance schedule and exploding your valves and checking those gaskets and seats. Do they need to replace? Probably. And making sure that you're following your process piping and that everything's level and your gaskets haven't slipped and started to shred, and that your connections are still tight but not too tight. Like, it's just getting super familiar with the equipment, I think, is the only way to actually know what that sound is. Because there's always 10 sounds going on in a production facility, but when that one sound comes on that you've never heard before, then you become like inspector detector. Like, where is that? What is it? And it's usually something weird, right? It's like the little nut, the wing nut on a tri-clamp going. It's always something weird. So
Well, and
just that familiarity.
And it's difficult. I shouldn't say difficult. It can be challenging going into different production spaces. So like what part of what I do with my content stuff is monthly I go into somebody else's brewery and I make beer with them. It's weird when you go into a production space and you hear the sounds that you're not used to, and then you're like, is this a bad sound or is this just a normal sound? And so when I fly, I've adopted this thing where I'm not like a crazy anxious flyer, but I would prefer to be on the ground because I feel like that's probably where I was designed to be. I say stuff like that to, shield my own anxieties. But I always look at the flight attendants. If the flight attendants look calm, I say to myself, then I can be calm. One time I've seen a flight attendant look like they were losing their shit, and that's when I allowed myself to start losing my shit a little bit. But it's the same thing in somebody else's production environment. Like when you hear those sounds, you're always looking at the person that you're with. It's like, are they reacting to the sound? If they're not, okay, it's just what happens here. But yeah, there definitely is knowing that space, knowing those sounds, knowing the smells and everything like that goes along with it.
I make the allegory to the kitchen quite a bit because it is a kitchen. You are producing food, and it's just like going to someone else's kitchen. It's not designed the same way the one in your house is. The equipment is similar, but it's not exact. The tools are similar, but they're not exact. And maybe they have more and maybe they have fewer, right?
Yeah.
So it's always fun and interesting to me.
Yes.
I'm sure it is for you as well. When you go to someone else's facility and you're basically like looking around and seeing what kind of processes they have, what kind of equipment they have. And it gets fun because you get to chat about what works, what doesn't work, what has been a surprise for you, what has been a letdown for you. And it's really easy way to talk to another person, especially if you are feeling introverted or or shy.
You're not introverted. You're not talking about yourself when you say introverted, though, are you? Come on.
I definitely like to crawl into my little hole from time to time.
Okay. I can see that. Yeah. I can see that. I took a personality test a handful of years ago, and it was like 90 minutes long. Like it was not.
Oh, that's in depth.
It was not some rinky dink thing. And it said that I was in the 99th percentile for extroversion, which is insane. So like when I'm done doing these podcasts, like I feel like I could just shoot fire out of my hands. I'm not even joking. Like I can't go to sleep. So like when I've done like really late podcasts, like I've gone live at midnight or whatever, and it's over. I'm not sleeping. Like I get so ramped up off of just interacting with other people.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I'm like, I know I'm very far like on one side of that. So I think it's an interesting duality because I would not have suspected like with how I see you on the pod, like with Shan, and is it because the two of you are close that we kind of get like that
It's definitely easier for me to let my guard down and not have that that wall, right? Because there is still that subconscious need to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Especially going back to when I started and when I began, no one was taking me seriously, right? Yeah. Obviously, this chick's got 6 igloos. What the hell is she doing?
I'm sorry. It legitimately kills me. I love it. I love it so much. It's crazy. And I know there's people out there that have had something crazy that they've been given to have to do. And that's why I love that we can talk about things like this.
Because it doesn't matter at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your equipment is. Obviously, if you are a home brewer, you want the Blickman pot. I had the Blickman pot. You want everything. You want everything to be top of the line as possible. But what you start out with, it only refines your ability to identify, diagnose, and get better. Those are 3 big points. And that's where that, not taking things personally comes into play. Like, man, I used to have such a bruised ego sometimes. I couldn't stand to hear somebody tell me that they didn't like the lager that I made.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it's a good lager. Well, you can't take it personally. Like once you get it out into the world, it's no longer yours, right?
Yeah.
And being able to like identify, hey, how can I make this better? How can I refine this? That's a key component to growth.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you do.
Do you feel like the fact that you started with kind of like and all love and respect to whomever you work for or whatever,
Sure.
but that's kind of a janky, a rustic setup. Uh,
Rustic is a very good descriptor.
but do you feel as if that leveled up your game from a troubleshooting standpoint? Like,
Oh,
or just
100%.
being able to think outside of the box?
Yeah, absolutely. Why is this why are we not getting enough gas to this one burner over here for this one kettle?
Yeah. For one of the 9 kettles, they're just all spread around you.
Oh my God.
I like the idea where it's like the crazy like 80s hair metal band that has like the huge drum set. It's
Yep.
like there's too many.
It was Neil Peart's drum set. Yeah.
It's just
Tony
Bazzio.
It was Dale Bazzio.
All kettles. Yeah. I'm sorry, but you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, look, it being able to identify that what you make every single time is not the most perfect thing ever in the history of the world. That's okay. And knowing that it can always be better, it can always be improved. And maybe the end product doesn't become improved, but your process becomes improved, your physical, mental, and emotional state become improved, your safety becomes improved. These are all improvements. So even if your Pilsner is perfection, it is so crisp, it is so clear, has the right amount of sulfur notes, it's got it all, baby. But it took you 15 hours to brew it and spin it out into a tank versus 6 or 7 hours. Like, where's that improvement going to come from? Because it has to.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Just a couple of notes from the chat. Good to see everybody in there. Make sure to drop any questions if you have them. But some lovely words from Gilly the Saint in there. I don't know.
Oh, Gilly!
He said that. Well, I don't know but me and Catherine are listening in. Let's go, Leslie.
Guys.
Love you, Leslie. Adam, you handsome boy. I'll take it. Okay. We got Shannon here and a few others. Good to see everybody in here.
Perfection.
So 15 years. 15 years in the industry, producing beer. First of all, I was thinking about it. Like, it's because we basically started in the industry almost like at the exact same time on the commercial side. 15 years is a long time. Have you considered that? Well, I mean, even within like, it might sound like a weird thing to say, but even like in the scope of what I'm going to, I've been brewing 50% longer than I was teaching, and I taught for a decade.
That's
you know what
insane.
I mean? And so those things, like, I don't know, it's an interesting thing. How do I want to say this? What were some times as you're growing in the industry, what were some times where you felt like maybe you kind of hit a wall, either from like an advancement standpoint or like from a growth standpoint, and then were able to like work your way through it, right? Is there anything like that? This isn't something that I don't know if I've asked you any questions that are on the show sheet. So by the way, guests get a show sheet, and roughly we're like going around the topics, but also it's been pretty free flowing. But you listen, you do a podcast with Shan, okay?
Yeah, I have to keep that wrangled. I feel you're like, what the fuck is going on here right now? But no, I've got to keep that wrangled.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Otherwise,
Well, and so sometimes one of my problems is, and so I have some attention deficit issues of
Sure.
my own, and so sure,
Yeah,
and so
it's true.
I sometimes, I don't know if I've done it to you, but sometimes I'll ask 5 questions in a row,
Oh my gosh.
and I feel
Look,
bad. Like
this
they
is
just
this is the joy of live. You can
uh-huh.
have an agenda,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
as long
yeah.
as you stick to the bones of the agenda,
Yeah, yeah, we're
that to me
still
is a feeling of accomplishment. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, we're still
because like
somewhere
because
in
Shan and
there.
I can start off here and then end up here.
Absolutely.
And if we're
Absolutely.
if we're just hanging out, having some drinks, it's
Uh-huh.
always
Yeah.
this,
Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
We've got so many cross references and cross stories, and
Mhm.
it's just the history of what she's done, what I've done, and then like what we've seen in the
Yeah.
industry is just
Yeah.
like, oh, do you remember this? Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we go off tangent quite a bit. Um, I would say yes to answer your question about like
Yes.
hitting a block.
Yes.
Um, so I'm always looking for the more information, more training,
Mhm.
more responsibility, right? Because I'm a responsible person.
Mhm.
S- Lots of brewers do show up hungover in the morning.
Uh-huh.
It's not an everyday thing, but it
Uh-huh.
does happen. I'm still
Sure.
responsible. Um,
Sure.
but the internet started becoming an easier thing to use. And I know I sound like a crazy old lady. The internet, you remember the surfing the web?
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's pretty straightforward. Just pull up Netscape and
Alta Vista.
ask Jeeves it, okay?
Okay.
So so yeah,
But
yeah.
looking for more information and scouring pro brewer, blah blah blah, right? But joining my master brewers
Mm,
district was a huge level up in my education because I was able to access
mhm,
so much information
mhm,
and from the entire archive of the association.
mhm,
It's not just for networking. It really is an incredible way to see people talk about in a forum or even in the technical quarterly or any of the back issues of the technical quarterly or any papers that have been written. You
mhm,
can see how someone has identified an issue, developed a solve for that problem,
mhm,
and said, hey, this kind of worked or it really didn't work.
mhm,
Um, and also talk about the techniques that they're using in their specific brewery or facility.
mhm,
Um, that's that's such a low barrier to entry for a lot of folks. For a majority of folks, if they can get their brewery to pay for their membership,
mhm,
that is what's absolutely clutch.
mhm.
But the brewery I was at the time, they weren't paying for everyone's memberships, so
Yeah,
I had to really chomp down on that and say, okay, I'm going to need to, ration my Starbucks coffees every day
sure,
because
sure,
we're
sure.
brewers and we can afford that. But that, and then learning, uh, taking the brewing diploma courses from IBD
Mhm,
was really like mind expanding for me. I'm
mhm,
not in a Miller Coors or an AB InBev or a Heineken
mhm,
or Carlsberg facility, and those courses are definitely lean towards big production facility training, but
mhm,
the bulk of the process is there, and what you
mhm.
can learn from that, which really I think paid off, was plant management.
Uh-huh,
Because I had a background in chemistry. I wanted to be a forensic pathologist when I was a little tiny Leslie. And
uh-huh,
so when I was going to school originally, that's what I was going for. So having a chemistry background definitely helped.
uh-huh.
Um, having having the access to all that information and just being able to do those quizzes by myself and do those exams by myself until it was the actual like proctored exams, those were brutal. I hated those. I don't know anyone that's enjoyed taking those exams.
I'm
But the
feeling
information
stressed out
is there.
about it, and I've never even had to take them, and I can feel a
Talk
little bit
about
of anxiety. I bet.
But
I bet.
having the ability to access that information is super key, because you don't have to rely on yourself to be taking time off of work, taking time away from your home to go to a in-person school. Now, I always wanted to go to an in-person school. I couldn't swing it. I just couldn't swing the amount of time away from my home.
What was the dream? What school was it that you want to go to?
Actually, the American school up in Vermont. I always wanted to do that. Yeah, because it just seemed really cool. Definitely hands-on. You definitely learn a lot of theory and practice, and you get to run that little brewery with your cohort.
Yeah.
There was no way I was going to be able to go to Doman's. Like, are you kidding me? That would have been to me, that would have been the pinnacle, because I would have been in Germany. Sure.
Have you been to Germany before?
Yeah, I love Germany.
Oh man. So I'll tell you what. That I've been thinking, like I'm legitimately thinking about it. So like I am not I'm not celiac, but when I don't eat appropriately, like I feel unbelievably horrible, like anxiety, depression, and it's crazy. It's like an inflammatory thing. Yeah. And so I've like talked to my wife about this though, and I'm like, but if I go to Germany, like I gotta know, like, what these beers, and I'll be honest, like for me, like my I've probably gone. I'm very diligent about what I consume, and maybe it's a little crazier than it needs to be, because I'll feel like shit. It's not gonna kill me or anything like that, but I'm gonna feel really bad for a little while. But I that notion of being able to say, oh, I can go and drink this beer like how it's supposed to be served, where it's born, and where it's supposed to live.
And it's like I don't know if I can younger.
I know. Yeah. Anyways, what's your favorite beer travel, brewery travel outside of the country? Outside of the country.
Oh, this is not a fair question, I fear.
I had a strange one. I had one long weekend in Belgium. And I had a long weekend in Belgium, and the reason that I like it, because it was all built around the idea. This was probably 2011, and that was like when people were saying like, "Oh, Westvleteren 12 is the best beer in the world," and so we're like, "What if we just went there and then went and drank that beer essentially, and then came home?" So that was like what spun out around that. And then we went to Cantillon, and I cried in front of Jean Benoit because he shared stuff with us. It's a whole story I'll tell you another time. But I'm crying in the beer. She's giving me free cheese. The whole thing was beautiful. But what is like that really big, impactful like beer experience that you've had going somewhere?
So my first love with beer has always been English and Irish styles. And I love brewing them. They are deceptively easy to brew, as in they are not easy to brew. They require skill. I joke with Shan, and I've joked with this with my husband and a couple other people, like my litmus test if I go to a brewery is if there's an ESB on the tap, I will full send a pint. I will not just, can I get a taste? I will get a pint, and I will definitely side-eye a brewery that can't do a good ESB, because that tells me that the rest of your tap list is probably pants. Right? ESBs, milds, blondes, IPAs, stouts, porters, you name it. Like one of my favorite times was going through England and Scotland and only drinking Camera ales. In fact, every time we do go over to the UK, I only drink Camera. I only do hand drawns, and it's the only time I've not. As you should. Yes. The only times I've ever done that is if like I was with my ex's family, my ex-partner's family, and they were like, well, it's the pub, so you got to have a bottle of Wicked or
Yeah.
or some or Smirnoff Ice or some kind of alcohol pop. But by and large, it's always hand drawn, always.
Yeah.
And being able to visit the Boddington's brewery and see the tiles, and being able to have Rochdale's best bidder on a hand drawn, and then go to Rochdale Brewery that was immense. Being able to go to these different breweries in the countryside and taste the terroir of the different parts of the UK and Ireland, that is something that you can't replicate.
Yes.
And we always talk about terroir in terms of like, well, Czech Pils is these things and it has to be there. Same thing for a Helles and a double or a quad or whatnot. But it's true. It's very true in the UK and Ireland, because everything is grown right there and has been. Those flavors are so endemic of the area that they're from. So getting that taste, you're tasting the ground, you're tasting the air, you're tasting the water, and you're tasting the ephemeral nature of that region, which is incredibly, and I know it's St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
But it's incredibly true in the West Country of Ireland, where there are not a lot of breweries, but what they are making is 100% representative of their time and place.
Yeah.
So using those raw materials, incorporating seaweed as a flavor and not just a fining agent. The turf smoking malt over turf, so you get that nice peaty notes, right? It's the same thing with Scotch. Like, the Islay Scotches are different from Highland Scotches. And I'm just going to say the Isles, UK and Ireland for sure. Like, it's just going on a train and getting off at one train stop and going into the pub and then coming back on the next train and going to the next train stop and going into the pub. Like, you kidding me?
And I love so when I taught history, and so what I love is I'm not like a dates and like battles guy when it comes to history. Like, I love the stuff that, like, what first got me interested in history was like actually realizing that like there were actually people that were living through these things and experiencing these things, and then seeing it through that human lens, then things became very interesting to me. But like the culture around those things, and maybe it's romanticized in my mind to some notion, but I love the lower ABV beers and how it builds in this idea of just having pints. And it
builds and reinforces community.
Yes.
Because you're able to sit around for 5 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours, and just have like 3.4 to 5% beers and be with your friends and solve all the world's problems in a day.
Yes.
Because you do.
Yes. Absolutely.
But yeah, it's definitely it definitely fomented and keeps perpetuating that idea of community and community in and of itself, because you're always going to look out for your friend that's going to have a pint with you and willing to discuss the more bizarre things in the planet and the fun things in the planet, right? You're sharing your life, and you're sharing your life events over a pint. And so the pub is always going to be that center. And those small beers, flavorful, delightful, kind of low carb, those are, other than carbonation, not, those right there build build families, build friendships.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's something you mentioned that we've kind of circled around a couple of times that I actually want to drill down on a little bit. You've mentioned safety in the brew house on a couple of occasions. Let's dig into that, because I've been in situations where there's plenty of crazy stuff going, like where you're begging to get injured by working there. And then I've worked in places that have had some good things in place, and things still happen. What are some of those big picture things with your experience in the industry? The kind of things that I don't know. I mean, we know that, yeah, we don't want to get burnt by the HLT, or that's a steam pipe, or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's some low hanging fruit when a brewer, and whether you're in a management position or not, do you think there's some low hanging fruit when it comes to kind of thinking about your production space and helping to be safer yourself, but also just have a safer environment in general?
I think making sure that you take your own personal protection to
Mhm.
heart, and when you come in through that door, that you are booted up and you have your pant leg over your boots, and
Mhm.
you have chemical resistant boots, and hopefully slip resistant. That you are wearing a button front or a long sleeve, anything long sleeve, just to make
Mhm.
sure that you're protecting your arms. I know it's hot in there. I've brewed in Florida. Like
Mhm.
I still had appropriate equipment on, because I learned early on, after getting a massive caustic burn, that
Yeah.
you've got to take your own safety personally, because it is
Yeah.
your personal safety.
Yeah.
Um, but just coming through those doors with self advocacy in mind. And then after that, making sure that you're not providing or putting work onto others,
Mm.
because that emotional load or that mental load of, well, now I've got to do this because this jackass didn't do it, or didn't
Mhm.
do this correctly. This
Mhm.
wasn't cleaned correctly. Now I've got to come back and do it. Or they didn't mill in for me. So now I've got to spend another 90 minutes closing up because I'm that much delayed in my second turn.
Sure.
Um, those are small wins in the safety department, because you are looking out for yourself and you're looking out for others. Uh,
Mhm.
Honestly, doing a safety site walkthrough is incredibly free and easy. Like if you are walking between tanks and you notice that there is a valve arm that is facing into the pathway instead of away, like
Mhm.
towards the tank, somebody can hit their head on that. I've hit my head on that. That's why I'm so funny. See, we're funny.
Dude, I've hit, and I mean, even some of the stuff can't be prevented, but
Sure.
I still think I have a scar on something that wasn't even a cut, but I stood up and I raked my back against a sample valve.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I mean, there's stuff, yeah, but I'm
I've
sorry,
I've
continue. Yeah.
replaced a the soft part of a plow blade inside of a mash tun,
Hmm.
and the so it's sandwiched in between two stainless steel plates,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the plates was not finished correctly, so it was still kind of scraggly.
Mm-hmm.
And you're inside of a mash tun. It's wet. It's kind of steamy. You're replacing this, and my arm went like that, and so I have a scar right here, and it's not fun because it hurt.
Yeah.
Surprise. But that
Yeah.
was, I mean, I could not have prevented that even if I
Hmm.
tried. Like
Yeah.
that was not on me, and it wasn't on my company. It was just
That's
that
just
was
part of what it is.
just a
Yeah. Yeah.
part of
Yeah.
what it is. But like just making sure that those pathways are clear and you've got
Hmm.
hoses out of the way, and you're removing your trip hazards and your trench drains are covered, you know,
Hmm.
making sure that if you're degassing, that you tell people that you're degassing a tank.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
like just advocate for yourself, and be that annoying person that says, I'm doing this now.
Sure.
Because it
Sure.
works in commercial kitchens when you say corner or behind, or
Yes, it does. There's a reason why you do
there's a
those things.
reason.
Absolutely.
And while
Absolutely.
while while we do have that cowboy mentality of like, we're having fun, we're making beer, we're having a good time, this is rock and roll.
Yeah.
It's still safety, right? You have to be safe.
Yeah.
You can you can be rock and roll and
Yes.
safe.
Yes. You can be prepared. Well, see, I always kick back to preparedness, right? Like,
Hmm.
so when I walk in the morning to start brewing, so the one of the last spots that I was at, I had to recirculate the HLT
Sure.
because it would stratify. It was probably the worst HLT I've ever seen as far as
Especially those tall, skinny
stratification.
ones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I would walk in, and I had to have a different pump. I didn't have a pump like hard plumbed into it. So I'd have my pump set up before I came in. I would come in, I would flip the pump on, and then I would go and I would make a cup of coffee, right?
Yeah.
And then I walk in and everything is set up. Everything I can have measured. Like it's mise en place. It's kitchen stuff.
You have
right?
to. I did the same thing. If
And it's
I were the
safety. That's a safety thing, because when I'm hauling ass because one unexpected thing happens and I have these other things that I need to do, and I could see you connecting on this, being another prepared person. But I think preparedness is a big contributor to actually that safety element in the brewery.
And if you're working by yourself or with a crew, if you are on the closing shift that night, making sure that the AM brewer is set up with all of their flakes products staged on the deck if they are brewing a flaky beer in the morning, making sure all of their salts and all of their hops and all of their everything else are weighed out, closed, sealed, and labeled. The hops are in the walk-in cooler or whatever, but everything is staged and labeled for that person to come in, because their ability to not lose because 5 minutes is 15 minutes in reality. So they're making sure that they're able to come in and do their job effectively means that if you're still on that second shift for the next month, then you're getting out on time, all things being equal.
Yeah.
And you coming in, if you're working by yourself, it's the same thing, prepping yourself for that next day's turn, right? So if you're knocking out, or if you're running a kettle CIP, start mise en placing everything you need for the morning. Just do it. Yeah. It saves so much aggravation and anguish and anxiety. Because if you are like me and you are a 5 a.m. brewer, that means you walk in at 4:45 a.m.
Yeah.
Because you want to be dropping grain at 5.
Hell yeah.
Because you want to get out and you want to have a beer at 2:30 in the afternoon with all your friends.
Yes.
You need to be social. Damn it, Leslie, you're going to be social.
So, yeah, no, I completely agree. I've realized that I've gone pretty much the whole time without asking you, because it's mentioned in the title of the episode and everything, that you work with Coldstream malts.
Yes.
And you do some consultation as well. Do you want to tell me a little bit about Coldstream and what you do with them?
Sure. Coldstream Malts is a family farm malt company, right? So there's two families, two farms, multi-generational farmers in Eastern Washington and Western Idaho. So they both basically occupy geographically the same area. It's all dry land irrigation, meaning that there's the water that comes in is the water that's in the soil from the wintertime, when we typically get a lot of our precipitation.
Okay.
That means it's also no-till, which means that the topsoil and the biomass is deeper. So it's able to retain soil integrity, it's able to retain moisture, and it's able to make sure that when seeds are planted in the fall or the winter or in spring, that there is some place for those seeds to actually take hold and draw all the nutrients and the moisture that they need to grow. The Palouse is very beautiful. The Nez Perce is gorgeous. It's an incredibly stunning part of the country. Like, we genuinely live in the Pacific Northwest. We live in one of the most gorgeous places on the planet, without a doubt. Everything is either heritage varietals, so France and Czech, Stuffy Bavarian, Genie, Stingray for wheat, Buzz. So they're either continental or they are bred by land-grant colleges to be disease resistant, drought tolerant, especially in the last few years when we are increasing our drought times, right? So climate change is real and it affects agriculture, especially for beer.
Sure.
We see it with hops too. So that's locally grown and malted. And we have a lot of different single varietals, but we also have a blend. So it's basically it's the taste of the Palouse. It's the taste of the Pacific Northwest. It keeps different communities linked, and it keeps different communities flowing and employed. So the farms are able to employ their hands, and the drivers that need to take the grain to the cleaner or to the malt house, the drivers are employed. We have a malt house. All the malt houses have people that are employed. The people that service them are employed. The delivery drivers and the LTLs that take it to all of the different breweries and distilleries, those people are gainfully employed. And then the people that produce your delicious beer or your delicious dram, they're employed. And then that supports that community building aspect where you get to enjoy a dram or a pint with not just locally grown hops, but locally grown malt.
Yeah. I love it.
It's great.
And then tell me about the kind of the range of the consultation type stuff that you do.
Oh, it's pretty low stakes. I'm not looking at like designing big brew houses for folks. I have that capability. I have done that in the past. But it's more recipe refinement, process improvement. So like, hey, can you just come and take a look at this and tell me if I need to tighten up here? I'm going to say yes. Because there's always a way to improve.
Absolutely.
And anytime somebody is looking at a recipe tweak or a process tweak, like I'm available for that. Like we like to do these things because this is what we like to do. I know that sounds very circular, but I want to make sure my friends are producing the best beers that they can. I don't care what ingredients or raw materials they purchase. I just want to make sure everyone's making the best beer that they can, as safe as they can, and they're having a good time.
Absolutely.
Because it's just beer.
Yeah, absolutely. What was one of the things that I like about the podcast that you and Shannon are doing, and something that you are delivering is I have a lot of respect for. And it's not like envy, because envy has like a negative connotation. But I love how much the two of you care about your local scene, and just local Pacific Northwest, but beer in general. But the two of you have a real love for your local scene. And really have, you can tell that you have like a legitimate heart for helping to support those places and get the word out about that. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what the two of you are doing with the live lunches?
We really love to support our friends because we say this to each other all the time. Can you believe we get to work in this industry with our friends?
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Yeah. It's a good bit.
It's not too shabby.
Yeah.
Promoting and including local things that are occurring in breweries around Seattle area, Western Washington, all over Washington and Oregon. That is getting it out to, as a reminder to, hey, you can go to a store and buy a 6-pack, but going to somebody's place and enjoying what they're producing, you're going to get, I don't know, a better feel for it. Tap rooms are the best way for a brewery to express what their ethos is. It's a great way for folks to find camaraderie and friendship with folks that are drinking the same beer or looking for that similar experience. And while the majority of our audience is professionals and people that are maybe knocking out or milling in and we're on in the background, that's fine. We've also noticed that we do have quite a few civilians logging on and watching either on live or when we post it up on YouTube. And what a great way to figure out how much we all really love each other and want to support each other. And why do we want to support our friends? Well, we want to see our friends do better because it makes it easier for everyone else to keep that level of quality up.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't believe in the fact that there's too many breweries. There can always be more, right? Because if you are willing to meet your neighbor breweries at a certain level and then always try to keep elevating and being better process driven with your taproom experience or your product, that is only going to buoy your local scene as well.
Yeah.
And doing those community driven ideas with local shelters or benefiting other components in your community, that is only going to drive engagement and respect, mutual respect. Being able to go borrow a bag of grain or a bag of hops or a keg of yeast, those things are really quite crucial to being able to stay open and make sure that you're producing literally stay open. It's tough out there. It is tough out there. And it's okay. You can be awkward, but you can also be friendly. And we're really trying to be friendly. She's really good at being friendly.
You two are definitely friendly. Definitely friendly. Well, listen, I think I'm running up into time here, but this was a lot of fun. I appreciate you making time to come on. I really enjoyed the conversation. Can you tell folks out there how they can follow you online and where they can find the podcast?
Sure thing. I'm pretty easy to discover on social media. I do have a Facebook account, but I don't go on there. So please don't message me and get upset. I mean, that's fine. You can get upset all you want. I'm not in control of your emotions. I'm only on Instagram really. And it's just my name, Leslie Shore. So you see my name at the bottom, just remove that space and that's me. Our live lunches or lunchtime live, we do this try to keep it every other Monday at noon Pacific. And we upload it later in the week to our YouTube. And the handle for the Instagram for that is the.hardpod.
Hardpour. Oh, what did I see?
I know.
I was just looking at it.
Just
looking at it. What is it?
This lady's not for real.
Shan, you're in the chat. You can
the.hardcore. That's on Instagram.
Yeah, the.hardcore. Yeah, that's it.
And then our YouTube is live lunches or lunchtime live.
Yes.
And that's the replay, and you can see us be silly.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of fun, and we do it because we, I don't know, we have the time to do it, and we want to buoy our friends and really shout out our community.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, listen, this has been great. Like I said, I appreciate you making the time.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And we're gonna we'll jump off stream here in just a moment. And if you do have a second afterwards, once we jump off, I just want to chat with you for a second if you have
no problem. Thank you so much for inviting me. This has been great.
Of course. Wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. Everybody, it's good to see everybody in the chat. Appreciate seeing you all in there. Next week is going to be pretty busy. I'm going to be over at the Ohio Brewers Conference. I think I am going to be streaming next week, but it might be a later show later in the week, or we'll work something out. But yeah, just always appreciative. Make sure to show some love to Senos and to Blickman because they're helping to feed my children. So that's a good thing. Always much appreciated. And just love to you all out there. Full of gratitude for you all, and be good to your people. And we will see you next time. Cheers, everybody.
Adam make beer. He's up in the club.